name is Dr. Esther Trufan, and in this video, I am going to show you how to make your sodium carbonate solution. For this, you're going to need sodium carbonate powder, deionized water, and because you're making a solution, you'll be using a 100 milliliter volumetric flask. You know that when you're making a solution in a volumetric flask, you cannot exceed the only mark on the volumetric flask. So the meniscus of your solution has to be right there. If you go above it, you can't just take off the excess water. You have to start over again. So to avoid any restarts, it's always a good idea to have a pipette with a bulb ready for your deionized water. Because you're going to measure the sodium carbonate powder, you will be using a spatula, a scale, and a weighing paper. And then because you never want to leave your solution unlabeled, you're going to use a marker or some kind of other labeling system. So let's get started with our mass measurement. First, we're going to turn on our scale, place our weighing paper on top, tare, and when it shows 0.00, we will use our spatula to add 1 gram or as close as possible to 1 gram of sodium carbonate powder. And I have exactly 1.00 grams of sodium carbonate powder. I can set it aside, turn off my scale, and set that aside. And then I'm going to take my weighing paper, fold it into a funnel or cone type shape. Then I'm going to point my funnel inside my volumetric flask and gently tap it to release the powder into the volumetric flask. Then I add my deionized water, and I want to add it slowly, a small amount first. If we add small increments, it gives us the opportunity to shake it really well. It's almost clear. And all our sodium carbonate is fully dissolved. Now it's just a matter of filling our volumetric flask with water to the mark. We give it another good shake to homogenize before we reach the neck of the volumetric flask. And then we slow our addition. Once we get close to the mark, it is a good idea to just switch over to your pipette, draw it up with water, and then when you're still far, you can squirt in the whole pipette full of water. But when you're this close, you want to be a little bit more careful and add your water dropwise. You want to be eye level with your mark. And when the meniscus of your solution is right at the mark, you stop. And we're done. We squeeze out the excess water into a waste container. Add the cap of the volumetric flask on top, swirl our solution back and forth about 3 to 5 times. And then, because we don't want to leave anything unlabeled, we're going to say that we have our sodium carbonate solution. It's a good idea to keep track of the time and date that you created the solution, as well as if there are multiple groups working on the same project, make sure that you add a group identifier to your volumetric flasks.